Hail! It's supposed to be Maniac here and bread is cool. Now, how about you had to wait 6 months for the loaf of bread? It was broken, unfinished, and you had to wait 6 months, not only for the rest of the bread to come, but to also even be able to use the bread properly. So basically, it's just a modern game.
One of the joys of modern games is that thanks to the internet, developers can keep supporting their game via updates. It also mean they can fix any glitches that are in the game. One of the things with these old games is that because of the lack of internet, you couldn't fix any problems after the game came out, meaning that when the game came out, it had to be as finished as possible, as bug-free as possible, because they can't fix anything after the game comes out.
It's like a gay person, you can't fix it.
However, because of the ability of developers being able to fix their game after the game launches, they realise they can just release the game in a barely playable state and use the excuse of,
We'll fix it later, we promise. Not really.
because if the game comes out as broken, either two things will happen. Either people forget about the game, or YouTubers will stop making videos on it. Or the other thing that could happen is YouTubers will start making videos on it, talking about how bad a state of the game is in at the moment, leading people to find out about the game and maybe even buying it, meaning more money for the company. However, some games come out in a completely abysmal state, so I thought I'd talk about a few.
Come on, what else do I do for the next couple of minutes? Actually play these games?
Halo the Master Chief Collection is a collection of Halo 1, 2, 3, Halo Reach, Halo 4, and Halo 3 ODST. This was one of the Xbox One's biggest exclusives, and it took 2 years for the game to finally become somewhat playable. At launch, you could fall through the floor. Sometimes you could end in the game stat screen, but it just wouldn't show, and the game really wouldn't end really. And when you quit a match, you still have to wait 5 seconds, and you still could die during this.
So basically, the launch of this game was more broken than a monster truck with its engine on fire.
Battlefield 4. The big issue with Battlefield 4 at launch was that the multiplayer just didn't work for most people, to the point where the expansion pass for the game was delayed so they could focus on fixing the multiplayer for the main game. It was finally fixed, but at that point, it was too late for most players. They felt like they had been cheated out by the issues that plagued the game when it came out. Battlefield 2042.
Well, we already f***ed up once, so why not f*** up again?
When Battlefield 2042 came out, it originally came out in beta with some of the worst bugs ever, seizure-inducing bugs. It was also missing content, and there were graphical glitches everywhere. The game just sucked at launch, and even when it finally came out of beta, it was not any better. Drive Club. The big issue at launch with this game was the multiplayer, like Halo the Master Chief Collection, but Halo had a lot more to live up to, because they said that Halo 2 multiplayer was launching like it originally did, so I guess they were like,
Yeah, I know it's meant to be like this, but whatever, I don't give a f***. Just throw some random bullshit together and let's hope it works.
Drive Club was a game that the developers really emphasized on the online, but at launch they just didn't do enough testing, so the day one experience was not the greatest. Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. This game launched all the way back in 2021, and it was a broken, buggy, glitch-fested mess. It was really bad. It technically sometimes even looked worse than the original PS2 games. It had bad frame rates. To be fair though, this probably had to do with the fact that this game was also coming out on the Nintendo Switch. This just was not the greatest way to experience these games, and it still isn't to this day. So overall, most people like me suggest just go back and play the original PS2 games. And how it's looking now, this game is just never ever gonna be fixed. Cyberpunk 2077. This game is infamous for its horrible launch. Bugs everywhere. It was pretty much unplayable on last gen consoles. Even on PC and next gen consoles it had issues. Disappearing characters, T-posing characters, cars would just randomly fall from the sky. This game was made by CD Projekt Red, the same people who made the Witcher series, and this series is loved. This game basically destroyed their reputation. Even though the game is mostly fixed, it still has one of the most infamous launches ever. And now, in my opinion, the worst game launch ever, Postal 4 No Regrets.
Yeah, I did say that properly, that's actually how they spelt it.
If the name is spelled wrong, how bad could the rest of the game be? Well, for one, it's a sequel to my worst f***ing nightmare. Postal 4 at launch was unplayable. It would crash always, it ran horribly, the optimization for the game was horrible. Even now I try running it on my computer and it should run on the lowest settings, but it just doesn't. I don't understand the optimization for this game. In my opinion, although Postal 3 was worse, it looked a hell of a lot better than Postal 4. Postal 4 already looks 10 years old, but running with scissors is still fixed on the game, but it should be fixed soon. Though, Postal 2, although it's probably better now than it was at launch, it still, even at launch, ran perfectly fine, so I don't get what the hell happened with Postal 4.
So that's some of the worst game launches ever. The thing about these games is they are being fixed so soon, and soon these games could absolutely be playable. By the time these games are done, I won't want any more bread.